the more lies that came out that came out that he told, it was just like, I really couldn't grasp it. It was just like, well, why are you doing this? And I get exactly what you said. Like, it is like a lack of purpose and a lack of self. Yeah.
Right. Hey.
Why are you so loud?
All right. Anyway, welcome to episode 1 of the Unnamed podcast. It's your girl Lysh, and I'm here with my co-hosts.
I'm Tee.
I'm Tee. Oh yeah, that's Tee. So, you guys don't care why we started this podcast because no one knows who we are. But we are committed to doing this for a couple of reasons. Do you want to share one of your reasons? No? All right, let's just get into it. That's fine.
Yep, this is my sister, and she's forced me to do a podcast. Pretty much. That's my life.
It was mutual. Anyway. Okay, so today, T has picked a topic for us, and we are going to get into this topic, and we're going to talk about it. We want to talk about things that are happening in the world, how we feel about them. We bring a faith-based perspective. Well, I do. Tiana's kind of a heathen.
That's so ratchet. Okay, anyway, so today, I wanted to talk about, I guess, maybe I could give a little backstory. So lately, I turned 30 at the end of 2022. So I was like, I feel like it's more grown up for me to watch the news instead of just like going on a shade room every day. And then I get my current events from there. So lately, every morning I get up, watch the news, and that's like part of my daily routine. And it's been kind of good. So one interesting topic that I've come across lately is George Santos. So George Santos is a Republican. He is from New York, and he's a United States representative. He recently was elected to be the United States representative, and it's come out that he has lied a lot about a lot of things on his resume. So like some things like his education, his family, relationships, where his family's from, how his mom passed away. It's just a numerous amount of lies. Wow. So, yeah. So we're here, and I just wanted to talk and see how Alicia's feeling about that current event about George Santos, and how we like what like when I saw it, it was just like, what drove him to lie like this? Mm-hmm. Like everything, it was like every time he got in front of a camera, he had to tell a lie. Wow, like he had to make himself relatable to that situation.
It's a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, how you feel about that, Lysha? Like, what do you think drives people to lie like that?
I can't say for sure. I think it can be I can't pinpoint one thing. I think it's a lot of things that drive people to fabricate. I think like one of the biggest things though is the lack of purpose, the lack of knowing who it is that you are, and ultimately being so uncomfortable in who you really truly are that you have to fabricate and you have to lie so much. And I think another thing on the opposite end, like naturally that's what comes to mind for me.
Right.
But I think also on the opposite end of that, like you never know what a person is like faced with. You never know if like everything in his life is riding on him being this politician. I don't know the full story, but like you never know if somebody's like, you know, their whole life is riding on them being this person, and it's like, if I don't do this, like my whole life folds, you know, or I desire so much to be a somebody, or you know, so it's like it's so many different factors. Where'd you go? Where did your mind go when you you heard about this story? Very interesting.
Yeah, it just really threw me because it was so funny. It's built up so much. Like, so I want to say maybe like the beginning of the year, it kind of started with him just lying. It said that he lied about the universities that he attended. And so I was like, oh, okay, whatever, people do that.
People do that. Yeah. You check a resume. It's like, you ain't finished,
Yeah, it's all right.
For sure.
But the more the story the more lies that came out that it came out that he told, it was just like, I really couldn't grasp it. It was just like, well, why are you doing this? And I get exactly what you said. Like, it is like a lack of purpose and a lack of self.
Yeah.
Because if you are comfortable with who you are, then you don't have to fabricate who you want to be,
It's just like this.
This is who I am. I'm George Santos. I'm sorry, I have never experienced XYZ. I can't say that I went to this really nice university, but I do have education in this, and that's just who you are. But yeah, for me, it was just mind blown. And it was kind of, in the moment, it was like kind of funny. But when you think about it, like how you're thinking about it, as far as like, that's a lack of like knowing who you are. That's kind of sad.
Yeah, it is. It's really sad. Because it's like, it's also like, what do you think? Like, one, you have to keep up all those lies. You got to keep a track of like, what school did I say that I went to? What did I say about my parents and where they come from? And you know what I'm saying? So it's like, and then it's like, you got to keep going. So it's like, where's that cousin that you said, didn't have anything? Now that you've made it, what are you going to do? And it's like, yeah, actually he's in, did I say Tennessee? Did I say Texas? Did I say that he's in California? I forget, so that's a lot to keep up with, know?
I agree.
And, I mean, it's sad. It's sad because I think it happens to, it happens more often than we know, but because he was a politician, it's highlighted, and he's in the media for it.
Yeah. And that goes to my next question.
Yeah.
Have you ever been in a situation where you caught yourself lying about a situation and was like, later, like, maybe I shouldn't have told that lie, or like, or have you done it to lied about something to get ahead?
Yeah. I mean, one, I think I know I'm a very bad liar. it's like I'm bad. So, and I think I've always been like that ever since I was a child. Like, I couldn't like lie good. And I don't understand. It's very hard for me to understand people like that just like can lie so good. The second part of that, like, so I can't recall anything that I've done to try to get ahead. It's like I kind of accept most of like, all right, I didn't do XYZ, so I'm not going to get this, you know? And I don't know. I think that's just like innate. Like, I don't know how to lie, but, yeah, I don't know. What do you like? Have you ever did that? Now, I have lied, like, when telling, like, stories just to make it, like, like, to give somebody a fuller picture of the situation.
Yeah.
And, like, maybe that whole thing that somebody said wasn't said, but, like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I think for me, I guess I've lied.
Right.
I've definitely lied to get in certain positions or whatever.
Oh yeah. Okay.
But
okay.
I mean, okay, not as bad as the lie that's going on now with these nurses.
Can you say a lie is bigger than the other? Just like no sin is bigger than the other sin. But it's like we do have sins that are like, okay, that is a major sin. And then it's like, okay, that was a little sin. But like God doesn't see it that way. So, you know, like, is it the same? Like when it looks at lying?
I guess. I mean, I definitely get Santos. I was just telling Shane is my husband, the other day. I was like, well, one time I was at church and I was at this new Bible study and there was all these people there. And it was like, okay, introduce yourself and say one cool thing about you, right? So I'm like, my last name's Barry. I think maybe if I tell all these people in here that I am also related to Mayor Barry, then that would be like a cool.
You're joking.
That would be something so cool to say. But I was in Georgia and I was like, you know what? Like, I didn't think this at the time, but I was like, they probably don't even know who Mary Berry is. But in my head, I'm like, that'd be something cool to say. Like, that'd be a cool part of me.
Okay.
And then, so, but when it was time for me to introduce myself, I was like, nah, I couldn't do it. But in that moment, yeah, it definitely crossed my mind. Like, I was like, that made me seem interesting. Right. I don't know who he was going to be to me, but he was going to be a family member, and I was going to be like, yep. And he was the mayor of DC, and he's actually known as the forever mayor, you know? Like, what? That's so cool. But I didn't go through with it, but I mean.
Oh, that's good. That's good. That's actually.
I thought about it.
And I don't know. It's like, also, what is the thought that makes you have to? I think, no, I'm not even going to say that, because I think that, like, a lot of people do want to feel important. Like, there is a lack of, like, I mean, not a lack, but there is a desire, like a human desire to feel like I am important. People do care about me. Yeah. You know?
Important, relatable, like all of those things.
Yeah, for sure. And it's like, I guess some people carry that weight and it's heavier than others.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like you said, I think it all goes back to your lack of self.
Like lack of identity.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, so what do you think, like, if you had to pinpoint it, like somebody struggling with that identity issue, or maybe they're put on such a pedestal, maybe they're the straight A student in their family, they're the one that's supposed to make it, you know, dealing with this pressure, how would you help them? What would you say?
Like, what do you mean? If
they carried this weight to always be perfection, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm coming to a place now where I feel like I gotta fabricate. Like, it's too much. Like,
the pressure's too much. So like that's causing them to.
Yeah. What would you say to help a person like that in that situation? Where would you start?
Probably saying that if it was my friend, I would say, look, it's okay. I love you regardless, you know? So, like, you don't have to put on this persona for me. It's all right. You can chill. Look, I'm not an A student. Look, we can be like BC students together. It's all right. But then maybe, I don't know what happens when they get home and they get a bad grade. So, it'd be hard.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's a hard one. You always have the right words for everybody, though. I don't have the right words. I'd be like,
I don't know. I feel like, and Tiana's a filler. Like, she feels for people, but like, I guess like the way that it outwardly expresses, it may not be effective, but she does care.
Yeah.
And so, like, for me, if I had somebody in that situation and I was like, you know, you're struggling with like the weight of like the world, essentially, and it's like it's getting heavy, I would tell the person that, one, it's like your life is yours.
Yeah.
And it's okay. Like, you have to deal with keeping up with those lies. You have to deal with being stressed out from the weight that people put on you. So I would just try to encourage them, like, hey, like, you know, this is your life. You don't have to accept that. Like, this, you don't have to accept being that person or being that great, you know?
Yeah.
And that would be like my advice. I don't know what Santos's thought process is, but then I think there are also people who just lie. Like, there's nothing you can do about it, that they will lie about everything. Whether you tell them that it's okay, you don't have to, you know, you don't have to be this
even
person
if they're
for
caught
me.
in their lie.
Yeah,
like, I've seen people like dead-handed caught you in a lie. Like, you just told me this last week. You don't remember saying this? And it's like, oh, well, girl, da-da-da-da-da. And it's like, okay, you know you was caught, but you still trying to hold face right now. But it's all right.
And for me, I think it's like spiritual at that point. Like, spiritually, there's something off. And like, there needs to be, you need deeper help, because it could be demonic influence. You know, it could be I don't know. Like it's something bigger than you that's causing you to do something like that. So that's what I would say to somebody like that. Either I'll help you, I'll walk with you, and get you the help that you need. If you don't want to lie.
That's so supportive. You're so supportive. You've always been a great team player.
Thanks. Yes, as always, we would like to hear from you guys. Like, what would you say to Santos? How do you feel? Like, does it make you on the side of like, oh man, I kind of feel for him? Like, do you understand, or are you like, just leave it in the comments how you feel? Like, how do you really feel about it? And if you have any advice, because it's not just Santos, but like there are people who really struggle with like lying, and for whatever reason they can't stop. They can't stop, and it's not funny. Like, we're laughing, but it's not funny.
Yeah, it's not. It's really not,
because it's a bigger issue. But we want to hear from you guys. We thank you for listening, and we'll catch you on episode 2. Peace.